Read then, lads and lasses, how we're doing, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I know it has been a while, but finally we are back with the daily news videos. Of course, the reason I haven't made any in the past couple of days, it was the England's final, wasn't it? It was the England final in the Euros, and we'll not speak about it too much. We all know what happened there. But in today's daily news video, we have news, actually starting off with England first, just a little bit. Don't worry, that Gareth Southgate himself has confirmed he has stepped down from his role as England manager. Pretty major news there, by the way, but straight away, linking it back to Newcastle United, it has been reported that Eddie Howe is now the leading contender for the England men's job. I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer, whether it's kind of poor journalism. Let's just link the best English manager to the England job. We don't know, but of course, we will take a look into it. And by the way, we've also got news that Eddie Howe has a release clause in his contract. It's worth £5 million. That is pretty cheap. And another news, before we start the video, we have got news from Fabrizio Romano via his YouTube channel that Newcastle United have made an inquiry in the last week to Paris Saint-Germain for the wonder kid, Xavi Simons. Now, when I mean stick with me in this video, I'm not saying it to get you to watch the full video, but trust me, stick till the end of the video. Me, myself, Geordie Josh, may have just took this transfer to a whole nother level. You'll see what I mean at the end of the video. I'm not joking. So without further ado, lads and lasses, if you do enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button, and of course subscribe if you are new to the Geordie Josh channel for all Newcastle United content, and let me know down below. Of course, Eddie Howe has a release clause of £5 million. Are you actually worried in this case? We'll get my thoughts in just a second. So without further ado, let's get into it. So as I have just said at the start of the video, it's been confirmed by England, the English FA, and Gareth Southgate himself that Gareth Southgate has stepped down from his role as England manager. It's then been reported by Time Sport that Eddie Howe is now the leading contender for that England men's job. Now, Daily Mail and Craig Hope actually put an article about Eddie Howe and the England job, that he would have a decision to make. I'm pretty sure every single manager has a decision to make on every single club in the world, but it has been reported though in that article that Eddie Howe has a release clause of £5 million in his contract. Not gonna lie, I didn't see that one coming. The clause actually was as high as £8 million when Newcastle United were in the Champions League, but of course, now that we're not in the Champions League, it's now diluted back down to £5 million. Now, before we even go any further, I'm quite literally just gonna say, do not be worried. Of course, nearly every team in the Premier League, even the England FA themselves, who of course are linked with Eddie Howe, can pay this £5 million release clause to Premier League clubs. It's literally peanuts. But I must say, if that release clause is even triggered, it still is Eddie Howe's decision. If it gets triggered, it doesn't mean that he must go to that club, he must go to that country. Eddie Howe, no matter what happens, even if it is triggered, he has that decision on his hands. And we all know how much he loves Newcastle United. He loves working on the grass every single day. If he was working at a country, you know, he'd be taking months out here and there. He wouldn't get a complete rhythm when you're playing in a tournament. It's just about an 8, 5, 7 game tournament, isn't it? With club and country, you're there every single week, filling in the transfers, filling in the media, the fans, all that sort of stuff. Eddie Howe loves it, but having a day-to-day business. But of course, we'll move away from that because, in my opinion, I don't think Eddie Howe will be the England manager at this point in his career. Maybe later when he's won a trophy with Newcastle, maybe if he even goes abroad with the club. Later on in his career, I can see him quite literally being the England manager. He's still a young manager now, and he does need to win something at club level to be an England manager. I know that wasn't exactly the case for Gareth Southgate. He done Middlesbrough and lost more games than he actually won. Moving on though to what we all want to hear, Xavi Simons. According to Fabrizio Romano, as it's been reported on his YouTube channel, yes, you heard that correctly, Newcastle United have made an inquiry to Paris Saint-Germain for 21-year-old Dutchman Xavi Simons. Now, before we even say anything, the magnitude of player in Xavi Simons is absolutely mental. No matter the actual concrete amount of interest Newcastle United have in this deal, even getting linked with players like Xavi Simons, personally I think it's absolutely class. Getting linked with the likes of Nico Williams, although still being unrealistic, Kvaratskhelia and even Mbappe when we first got took over. It's just nice to hear these big names, but it's also been said by Fabrizio Romano that the Dutchman does play for Paris Saint-Germain, as we all know, but he does not want to play for the French side. The capital club in Xavi Simons, they will loan him out. They don't want to sell him as of yet. Still got a fair few years left on his contract, but he will be loaned out, with Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich heavily interested in the 21-year-old Dutchman. Now, as we also know, he spent last season at one loan at RB Leipzig and racked up 21 goals and assists in 32 games. His talent is undeniable, but he would just suit Newcastle United to a T. He can play all across the front three, right wing, left wing, maybe not so much as a natural striker, but just behind as a number 10 or a false 9 now we'll call it nowadays. He's just so perfectly, shall we say, tailor-made for Newcastle United, but it is pretty unrealistic. I mean, this guy is absolutely unbelievable. We all know he had that fantastic season in the Netherlands with PSV, and Paris Saint-Germain pretty much bought him back on a £40 million transfer after letting him go for a free just a year behind. Not very great business from them. But if you're still not exactly sort of familiar with Xavi Simons, before we get into the news that I promised you from myself, he was the man that scored that absolute screamer against England in the Euro semi-finals, of course. We did knock him out. Might have a little bit of bad blood there already. But if you follow me on Instagram, you already know I post every single Newcastle United transfer news imminently. On the YouTube channel, it normally comes around 5 o'clock, maybe a little bit later, but 9 times out of 10, you all know that it is around 5 o'clock. On the Instagram, I post every single bit of news there. By the way, if you don't follow me and you do have Instagram, I suggest you go follow me. But I'll put that post on my story about Newcastle inquiring for Xavi Simons. Xavi Simons viewed my story on Newcastle United inquiring from. Now, I know some people might say, oh, well, you tagged him. You know, you've got him in that post. No, I didn't tag Xavi Simons at all. On my life, I swear to God, I did not tag Xavi Simons in that story. So Xavi Simons has either manually typed up Geordie Josh or Newcastle United fan page or something like that, or he's just randomly seen it. Whatever it means, Xavi Simons has now seen that Newcastle United are interested in the Dutchman. He knows that Newcastle United want him, and I think I put on this story as well that he's an absolute baller or something like that. So he also knows that Newcastle United fans absolutely adore him. Agent Josh is at your service here, lads and lasses, and if this deal, although being a little bit unrealistic because the magnitude of player is unbelievable, if this deal ever goes through, I want a little bit of percentage on this deal. All in all though, it's absolutely fantastic to be linked, even to be linked with these sort of players, but I must say, it is pretty much unrealistic. Wherever he goes, it's going to be somewhere like Bayern Munich, maybe even Arsenal. I know they're not levels and levels ahead of us, but they are a pretty historic club. Maybe Man City, Real Madrid, these types of clubs would attract Xavi Simons, maybe not Newcastle United just yet. I mean, even take a look at his Instagram following, nothing to do with his footballing ability, but 6 million followers for a 21-year-old. Guy is absolutely in the money, by the way. So without further ado, lads and lasses, it's been great to have you all back, and of course, I hope to see you all tomorrow. Do not worry, trust me, I know I've said it in the past, but trust me from now on, we are going to be consistent for a very, very long time. So without further ado, lads and lasses, I've been Geordie Josh. If you did enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new, and yet again, let me know down below, is Geordie Josh going to get this transfer done? I'm joking, but are you worried about that £5 million release clause in Eddie Howe's contract? I've been Geordie Josh. Go and enjoy your day, people.